Mike Matthews make some plays, but I do want to see Radar Jackson make a couple plays, Travis Smith make some plays, because then it'll give me a little bit more hope and faith going forward that, this is a strong wide receiver unit. And if there were to be an injury to a Mike Matthews, to a Chris Brazzell, we would have some insurance on that back end. So I want to see a lot of the wide receivers get some reps there. And I also want to see David Sanders look quite good. It's a pretty easy matchup for him, I would say. I don't want to over or underestimate the opponent, but I'm assuming that a 5-star top offensive line recruit is going to come in and be able to hold his own. Missed out on Syracuse. That would have been a tougher challenge than going up against this ETSU pass rush and defensive front. But I want to see Sanders look strong. Curious to see if this offense is going to move him around, get him pulling. It's usually a guard activity, but maybe a screen here and there, you flare him out as a lead blocker. I'm interested to see how they use his versatility and his just pure athleticism out there on that right side. So those are probably my 3 key takeaways or things that I'm looking for this Saturday from the Vols.
And Jackson, your keys for tomorrow, what are you looking for the Volunteers to do against the Bucks?
I'd say first and foremost, and this is probably my biggest key, is just a clean game.
Yeah.
Limited on the penalties, limited on the mistakes. Hopefully we don't see any dropped balls. Just have a really clean day on offense and defense. Group up to the ball, make a tackle, make a gang tackle, don't let ETSU break any tackles. Don't let them get any plays where you're taking a snap off or whatever. Just be locked in, because although this is a FCS level team and you have Georgia next week, you don't want to get caught looking ahead, because they are a top 25 FCS team.
Yeah.
And we've seen it happen before. Tennessee fans especially, the FCS teams can beat you.
Yeah.
So I want to see them come out and play a clean game. We'd really like to see them limit the rush for ETSU, and I really want to see the younger wide receivers.
Yeah, those young wide receivers, they were so impressive in training camp, and also big-time names heading into the season. Now they will most likely have the opportunity to make a couple of plays if they're able to get the opportunity. We do apologize for the video stream, a little bit late getting it up, but we do appreciate you tuning in and using the YouTube live chat. You can help us out, put in a couple of comments. We'll read your name and tell the world what you had to say. So we appreciate you using that. We'll continue with this Tennessee ETSU preview. Just did our keys to the game, and now we'll focus on a couple of specifics for the Volunteers, as this season marks year number 3 at the FBS level for Tennessee quarterback Joey Aguilar. Between his first game as a Vol and his pair of seasons with Appalachian State, he has produced an average of 288.2 yards of total offense per game in his career, and no active FBS player has more, with Aguilar leading the country in that stat. In his first game with Tennessee, Aguilar lowered this average by the thinnest of margins, with 247 yards through the air and 34 on the ground, with the total coming out to 281. And for his first game with UT against a Power 4 opponent, that's a strong mark to make, and I think everyone thought that was an impressive performance from Joey. And there's also been some new nicknames coming out too. Joey Spirals, Joey Football. I like it. And you get nicknames when you are a successful player, when you're able to do the right things. And for a guy that arrived on campus, 2 or 3 months ago, that's a pretty impressive start. But we'll get to what I'm expecting from Joey Aguilar against this Bucks team. And I'm just looking for him to be composed and be the leader of this team like he was against Syracuse. You can't handle what the defense does, but you can control the type of decisions that you make offensively. Playing clean is something I talked about, Jackson talked about, Tyler talked about. Playing clean tomorrow is really, really big, because in these type of matchups, if you start turning the ball over and making little mistakes here and there, that's where these things end up turning into an actual game. And I'm not trying to give any strays to ETSU, but this is a team that is on FBS or FCS program up against a top 25 team in the country in the FBS. So Tennessee should go in there and handle business. This should be a blowout. That's the expectation. And Joey Aguilar has to be comfortable once again in that role. I expect a lot of the same type of plays from last week, because I don't think you're going to try to unveil anything new before you play Georgia. But if we're being critical here, what did Joey need to improve on? Well, he's got to bring the ball down. There were a lot of high throws last week. He's got to be more accurate. There were a couple to the side, a couple a little bit low on those designed choice routes and comeback routes, to where you've got to start getting that chemistry of being on time and being accurate on time, because you don't want to have to be worrying about that and figuring that out against a Georgia. So what I expect from Joey is another clean game. I'd say anywhere from 200 to 250 yards in that first half, just doing what he's supposed to do. And, that would be combined, both running and as a passer. But, I mean, that's 2 or 3 big plays, right off of that. And I'm interested to see how many deep shots they take. I think they'll mix in a couple, especially try to set it up with the run like you saw against Syracuse last week. But he's got to be comfortable, can't try to do too much. And again, he's got to continue to get a grasp of this offense. This week is an opportunity to do that before one of your biggest games of the season. Tyler, what do you expect from Joey Spirals on Saturday?
Keep on building from your performance last week. It was strong. It was good. I kind of got blown out in the water. I was just expecting Joey to more be so a game manager and not turn the ball over, but this was a guy that made plays with his legs going outside the pocket, made some beautiful throws. I want to see him do that again on Saturday. I mean, the more flashes you show, I think 2 things. One, the more optimistic this Tennessee fan base is going to be, which sometimes can be a bad thing, but I don't mind being optimistic. I don't mind optimism. I think it's a part of sports. But secondly, gives you a better chance to beat Georgia. If you go out there and you look like complete trash on Saturday, you're not going to feel confident in yourself to go out there and beat Georgia the following week. And everyone around you isn't going to have that confidence. I mean, you got to go out, and this isn't a great team. Hate downplaying the opponent as always, but I mean, they're not a great team. I'm not going to beat around the bush. And Joey Aguilar, he should go out there and he should throw for 250 plus yards and at least 2+ touchdowns. And this game should be over by 6 minutes left in the second quarter. And if that isn't the case, I mean, maybe it's on the defense, maybe it's on the offense, but I fully expect both units to come out strong. But with Joey, I do want to see him try and, put the ball on the numbers rather than on the numbers on the helmet. And that's something that I am worried about, because he had about 5 or 6 throws in that first half, specifically last Saturday against Syracuse, where he threw it above his receivers' heads. And that's tip drill 101 right there. If Jeremy was here, he'd tell us that those are the most dangerous passes that a quarterback can throw. You have the obvious suicide balls or the passes that, are just way too tight and it leaves your receiver at risk. Those are the worst. But I mean, when there's a pass that is too high for your receiver to catch, but the receiver is still taught to make a play on that ball, could go right through their hands. Then before you know it, the safety or the quarterback in man coverage could pick it off and take it back to the house. So yeah. I want to see Joey, get those passes a little bit more down, find the timing, find the tempo. You had good timing with a couple of the receivers. Chris Brazel, I was impressed with, but Mike Matthews, he's a guy that I've been raving about all summer long, and I want to see that chemistry really, really start to build and formulate on Saturday. And the sooner you do that, the better of a chance you're going to have to continue to win week after week after week. You got to get on the same page with your wide receivers. You're finally playing at Neyland Stadium in front of, 105,000 people against a weaker team. This is the game that you really have to, make a name for yourself and establish yourself as not just one of the better transfer quarterbacks of this season, but as one of the better quarterbacks in the SEC. And based off what I saw against Syracuse, there's no reason that Joey Aguilar can't be in that conversation in 4 weeks from now.
Yeah, Tennessee football leads the country in 2 important categories after one game. And the reason is the Vols put up 0 in both departments. First, 0 allowed sacks in the win over Syracuse. A very important stat there. As we know, David Sanders was a late scratch on Saturday due to a concussion he suffered in practice leading up to the game. Sham Umarov stepped in and did a really good job. I thought Jesse Perry was really, really impressive. He had a blueberry pancake at one point in the game. And That's a guy that was really, really impressive during training camp. But while Aguilar had strong awareness to avoid pressure and even extend plays at times outside of the pocket, the offensive line deserves a lot of praise after last week. And now you get a little bit stronger with David Sanders coming into the mix. Tyler, you mentioned it earlier, how excited you were to see Sanders. And I think it's really important that he's back this week because Georgia is not going to be anything like ETSU. It's not going to be anything like Syracuse. Georgia is one of the top defensive lines in the country in terms of coaching and personnel year in and year out, and that's going to be a really quick adjustment for him. That's going to be tough. But you need to have him out there this week to get him acclimated to what college football is like. So it's a big deal that he's back, and I'm excited to see him because this was one of the crown jewels of the past class for Tennessee football. Everyone's been waiting for this guy. Everyone knew that he was going to be a starter when he got on campus. Now he's got the opportunity to showcase what he can do a week before Tennessee's biggest game. And there's kind of a theme for all of this, right? It's getting everything straight right now before you go take on a Georgia. You've got to have everything in place. You can't be going into that Georgia game in the first quarter figuring stuff out still. You have to know what this group is going to be able to do. You have to know if David Sanders is going to cut it, and I'm sure he will because he is that talented, and there's a reason why he was a top prospect last recruiting cycle. He's got one of those green gems by him. I don't think he's a bust. I think he's a crown jewel of this class, and we're going to get to see that tomorrow. But I want to see how he holds the offensive line, how he mixes in with these other guys as well. So really excited to see David Sanders join the group. And Tyler, you were talking about it earlier. I already know you're excited. Jackson, you mentioned it too. Everyone is excited to see David Sanders play. But the other category I wanted to hit on has to do with Joey Aguilar. The other category is 0 interceptions that Aguilar threw. With plenty of time to operate due to that offensive line, he didn't make costly decisions through the air to give the ball to the other team, put it in harm's way. A lot of that was done in Appalachian State. That was a lot of people's main concern when he made the switch over to Tennessee, but he was cool and composed, did not put it into harm's way, did not throw a bunch of hospital balls, put it in tight windows, and was on time and accurate. We've got to see that once again. And again, I have to stress the importance of playing clean tomorrow. You cannot have turnovers. You cannot have false starts. You cannot have the stupid stuff that puts you behind the chains or puts you on the wrong side of the field. So again, it is imperative to make sure you execute at the highest level and approach tomorrow like you're playing a Georgia, like you're playing an Oklahoma, Florida, or Alabama. I get it, it's ETSU, but each week is a faceless opponent. You have to go out there and do your job. And if you're at the end of the day, the team that has scored more points, it doesn't matter who the matchup is. You've got to go in with that approach because we've seen time and time again over the last couple of seasons in college football, teams will walk into a situation and think they're just better. We'll just beat this team because we're just better than them. Ask Notre Dame how that Northern Illinois game went last year. Oh, ask Alabama how Florida State went last week. You can't overlook opponents. I don't care if it's an FCS or an FBS level team. You have to go in with the same motivation and same identity as you would a Georgia or some of your biggest games of the season. And that's why it's so important to play clean tomorrow. And that starts with Joey Aguilar making the right decisions down the field. Guys, you get to weigh on this as well. How important is it to play clean tomorrow?
It's the most important thing. You don't want to have a game where you pick up 10 penalties and you just look sloppy on both sides of the ball. You got to establish yourself as a poised team that doesn't turn the ball over, doesn't, hold on pass protection, isn't too handsy in your secondary. These are all things that every single one of these players on the field for Tennessee has been taught from the time that they were playing Pee Wee football to today, to yesterday, to tomorrow. These are all aspects that make teams that much better. I mean, I hate doing this, William, and I know you hate it when I do this, but my Baltimore Ravens are a team that always kill themselves based off penalties. And it hurts them. And I've seen it, and I've seen it happen with a lot of different college football teams and NFL teams. And you got to play clean football, especially when you have a game against Georgia, because if you do it once, it starts to become a worry. You do
Sure.
it twice, it may start to become a habit. So you got to play clean. And I know you're short on your key secondary pieces, but if anything, this is a chance for a Ty Redmond, for Colton Hood to step up and solidify themselves as the future of this Tennessee secondary. I mean, you need secondary pieces next year. Why not have a tryout tomorrow against ETSU and prove that you are the guy coming into next season? That's the chip that some of these guys have to have on their shoulders, especially when you're given an opportunity to do so in a week leading up to Georgia, where you're going to be needed probably a whole lot more than you will be needed this Saturday. Yeah. So it all starts from just playing a clean brand of football. And I always appreciate how Josh Heupel and his teams do that. We've never really been one of those teams that, will get screwed over on the penalty battle. But like I said, if you do it once, it's concerning. You do it twice, it could start to become a habit, and you don't want to pick up that bad habit right before Georgia. So clean football from start to finish.
Very important tomorrow against ETSU. When we come back, we'll talk about the players that you may see in the second half. Hope to see as Tennessee will handle business in the first half and have the opportunity to showcase some of this young talent on this Tennessee roster. We'll tell you the guys to watch for. Stay right here. It's Overtime, presented by VIP Play on Fan Run Radio.
For the fans, by the fans, this is Fan Run Radio, Knoxville.
Blackford Veterinary Surgery Referral specializes in surgeries not regularly performed by your pet's general veterinarian. They're currently accepting referrals from vets all across the country. With their newly renovated state-of-the-art surgery center and highly trained staff, clients can rely on professional and thorough care. If your vet says that your pet needs surgery or rehab, ask for a referral to Blackford Vet and let them get your best friend back on its feet. Located conveniently in West Knoxville. For more information, visit blackfordvetsurgery.com.
For over 3 years, Crumble Cookies has served the Knoxville area. From Clinton Highway to Parkside Drive, even our friends out in Maryville have reached you, our fans, with the best cookies in the game. This fall, Crumble is gearing up for yet another fantastic season. Whether you're tailgating or looking for a pick-me-up after getting the kids from school, Crumble has you covered. Download the Crumble app to check out this week's rewards and features. And stop on by. Tell them Fan Run sent you, but don't miss the cookies.
A brand built in Tennessee and born from the love of the game, Inward Half revolutionizes golfing comfort. Crafted by a former pro and dedicated enthusiast just like you, our luxury performance wear guarantees you stay cool and comfortable through every swing and every day. We're not just a brand. We've set out to create a lifestyle for those who understand that impeccable style and premium performance are a hole-in-one. Enjoy the walk-in with Inward Half.
The number one problem we see at our clinic is delaying treatment. ED can get worse.
Book your appointment right now. Call 865-544-8220. Prefer privacy? Book online in under 30 seconds at menspronknoxville.com.
At our clinics, men's sexual health is the whole job. Look, I'm a normal guy too. I hate going to the doctor, but we've helped so many guys in here just like you. Even if pills have failed, our medical team is going to take the time to talk you through it. Same day in-house lab, and the treatments, well, they could change your life.
Your local medical team has your back. ED, performance, Peyronie's, size and shape modeling. We tailor what works for you.
I'll get to the point. Can you imagine epic performance and epic sex? Yeah, I said it.
A stronger you is closer than you think. We're available right now. Call 865-544-8220 or book in 30 seconds or less at menspronknoxville.com. Men's Pro Knoxville, making it happen.
Hey Knoxville! Surfside iced tea and vodka, made with real brewed tea, is only 100 calories, 2 grams of sugar, with no bubbles and no troubles. That's right, zero carbonation, so it's easy to sip and enjoy. Headed to a game day or party at a friend's house? Bring an iced tea or lemonade variety pack from Surfside, or try their green tea and new raspberry tea vodka. Find the can with the sunset stripes this season. Surfside iced tea and vodka, sold at bars, restaurants, and stores near you. Surfside iced tea and vodka, sunshine in a can. Must be 21 or older. Enjoy responsibly.
All right, back here on Overtime on this Big Orange Friday. We appreciate you listening along with us, whether it be on the free Fan Run Radio app, 105.7 FM or 1340 AM here in K-Town on the local dial, or on the X/YouTube live stream. However you're listening or watching, we do appreciate your time. All right, let's tap into our next topic, and that is going to be new faces on big stages. In Tennessee football returns to Neyland Stadium for its 2025 home opener tomorrow afternoon, and it's an easy home opener for the Vols as they host in-state foe ETSU ahead of their first real matchup against Georgia, which will start SEC play next weekend. It's the second game of the season, so there's still some things to learn about this Tennessee team, and that's what we stressed in that first segment, talking about the importance of playing clean football as you're continuing to try to understand what this team can do. But it's also an easy matchup that should give Josh Heupel and his staff plenty of opportunities to play young players. And Rocky Top Insider's Ryan Shumpert detailed 5 players that he's watching for tomorrow, including right tackle David Sanders, wide receiver Travis Smith Jr., defensive tackle Ethan Utley, star Boo Carter, and cornerback Ty Redmond. So out of these guys, there's a mix here of some established guys like a Boo Carter, a couple of guys that were really impressive in the season opener, like a Ty Redmond. Ethan Utley, a blue chip prospect last recruiting cycle. He's a freshman. And then we all know the crown jewel of the class, David Sanders. So a good list here by Ryan Shumpert. And out of this list, who intrigues you the most? And there are a lot of good players on this list, right? But I'm going to go with Ethan Utley, because what was Tennessee struggling with defensively on Saturday against Syracuse? It was the run game. It was the interior defensive line. And Ethan Utley entered fall camp as a guy that could work his way up, as the Volunteers are a little bit thin at that defensive tackle position. And through fall camp in one game, they've lost 2 of the 3 returning defensive tackles who played snaps a season ago. David Hobbs goes down. Jackson Moy goes down. Both those guys are going to be unavailable tomorrow. So now you're thin with like a Bryson Eason and Nathan Robinson being guys that can go, but Jamal Wallace, Ethan Utley, Isaiah Campbell, Josh Shell, all those guys are going to play major snaps tomorrow, and this is an opportunity for those young guys to showcase what they can do. I like Utley a lot. He's a guy that played 13 snaps a week ago, but in this matchup, he's going to get a lot more run than just 13 snaps. When this defensive line is thin, you need a freshman like an Ethan Utley. That was a highly recruited player to be able to fill in once we get an SEC play. You need guys that you can rely on, and that's what I'm looking for tomorrow. Not just Ethan Utley, but the Isaiah Campbell's, another blue chip prospect. Jamal Wallace, like these younger players that can come in and fill roles. Because the best thing about the Tennessee defense last year was not the numbers they put up and, the top 10 rankings, all of that. It was the depth they had on the defensive line, where constantly you could move guys in and out. You had about 9-10 guys deep, where you were consistently ready to go, fresh legs. That helps out in that pass rush and helps you get to the quarterback up against, really, really good offensive linemen in the SEC. I want to see that depth again. You're not as deep as you were last year. We know that. But we could see that group find some depth if guys like Ethan Utley are able to showcase what they can do tomorrow. Out of all these guys on this list for Ryan Shumpert, Ethan Utley, the guy that intrigues me the most for the Volunteers heading into tomorrow. Tyler, out of this list, who are you looking at?
It's got to be Boo Carter. I just want to see what this guy can do, especially in a bigger role. Only had 27 defensive snaps last week, didn't return any punts. I just want to see him, make a play. He had 1 tackle last week. I want to see him back there returning punts. I've been talking about it. I think that's where he's the most natural. That's where his value is the highest as a punt returner, as just a guy that, you can put the ball in his hands and just see what he can do. And this is a game against ETSU where I think there's going to be a lot of opportunity for some big plays, especially on that special team side. But ultimately, this is a secondary that we all know is very, very injured. They're very beat up right now, and you're expecting your star player on defense, Boo Carter, to come in and make an impact, amid all the stuff that happened this summer. I mean, the expectation is that he's still going to come in and they would work him in and they'd incorporate him into the offense, into the defense, into special teams. And we saw a really, really small sample size of that last Saturday. And I don't think any of us were impressed necessarily, but I mean, what do you expect a guy to do in 27 defensive snaps, especially when he's, 20 yards behind or 20 yards in front of the line of scrimmage? You can't make a whole lot of plays there. But this is a game against ETSU where the secondary is banged up, and if he doesn't play, I think there's a bigger issue at hand, which isn't necessarily, brought to the media's attention yet. But that's definitely a storyline that I'm going to monitor. But for the play of Boo Carter himself, I do need to see this guy, have the ball in his hands at least once, whether that's a screen pass on offense, whether that's an interception or a fumble recovery and the ball's in his hands, or him running a punt back from the 15-yard line and just seeing what he can do back there. I got to have some sort of faith that Boo Carter is the playmaker and the athlete that we expected him to be coming into a sophomore season. He's losing a lot of the fans here, which obviously goes back to, the massive storyline of whether or not Boo Carter is going to be here next season. A lot of us think he won't be, but you're here now. When you're here now, you got to contribute to the team that you are currently with. And I hope that he gets the opportunities to do so. But if there is a bigger issue at hand, then I'm not too certain about that. But if he does play, I want to see number 23 be called a couple times.
Jackson, anyone on this list that you have your eye on?
Not particularly on this list, but I will say, going off your Ethan Utley pick, I'm really excited about Isaiah Campbell.
Yeah.
This was a guy that was incredibly hyped up in training camp, even on the recruiting trail before he got to Tennessee.
Yeah.
This is a blue chip guy. And like you've said, all the injuries on the defensive line, I kind of expected to see him a little more last week.
I did too, yeah.
And we didn't. So I'm really hoping we get to see him this week.
Yeah.
Because we need guys on this line.
Yeah, I was surprised Campbell didn't play much last week either. I thought that was surprising. I expected him to maybe even be like a borderline starter, kind of being that consistent rotation. He wasn't. It was surprising. But again, you're early in the season trying to work out the kinks, trying to figure out where everyone goes. You mentioned Isaiah Campbell. That was a guy not on the list for Ryan Shumpert, and we'll segue now to these guys that are not on this list that Shumpert did, even though it's really strong. There are a lot of great names on here. But I'm interested to see tomorrow Joakim Dotson. Joakim Dotson, originally from Memphis, Tennessee. We went to the same high school at one point. Now, obviously I was a lot older, but I remember him when he was playing football in like 8th grade, 9th grade. He was already a star then. Was a varsity basketball player, track star, football player. He was everything. He's a really, really good athlete, and he carried that throughout his time in high school to where he was a really good track star, obviously a really good football player. Baylor is the school he went to, Baylor in Chattanooga, that is, and they had a game on ESPN last season to begin the year, and he had a touchdown where he was cruising down the sideline. This guy has got some speed, and I mentioned that track star part to this, right? He ran the 400-meter dash in 50 seconds flat. This is a guy with some speed. And in college football, speed can be really big. Look at a Zachariah Branch, former USC, now Georgia wide receiver. That guy's got speed. And if you've got that type of ability, you can be put into situations. I look and go all the way back to like a Percy Harvin at Florida. Percy Harvin was a track star. He was a speedster. The Jeff Demps of the world. They were really, really fast and could get the ball, and just with their sheer speed alone could pick up 4 to 5 yards on a design jet sweep run play. And that is really big in terms of just throwing another wrinkle in. We thought we were going to see a lot of Boo Carter on the offensive side of the ball this season. I think after everything that went down in the offseason, we're probably not going to see a whole lot of that. But Joakim Dotson's the type of guy that you could wrinkle into this offense. And I'm excited to see him tomorrow and the abilities that he has and the potential that he has to possibly be a consistent piece of this offense. Joakim Dotson, the true freshman out of Baylor in Chattanooga with some speed. I'm looking forward to seeing him play tomorrow. Tyler, a guy on your list, not named on Shumpert's list that you're looking for.
Still looking at Big Nate Campbell. I talked about it yesterday, man. I mean, this was a guy that had a really
Nate Robinson?
Nate Robinson,
Yeah.
excuse me. Because we were talking about other Campbell. Nate Robinson, I mean, I raved about him yesterday. I thought he looked very, very impressive in his snaps, made a couple plays, had a sack, had a forced fumble. Against a weaker ETSU interior offensive line, I expect that guy to get after it. We've been talking about how it's very, very important and crucial to the success of the season to get interior pressure, especially in the run support game, because when you're going up against Georgia, they're going to move you. They're going to maul you in the trenches, so you got to establish your dominance there early. And Nate Robinson is a guy that I think, based off what I saw on Saturday, he's more than capable of, being one of those main staples in our interior defensive line. Curious to see how he builds on it. He is a sophomore, so he has so much more room to grow.
Yeah.
And you do see a lot of these players, William, improve during the middle of the season. That's because they're getting reps and the game is slowing down for them more. I mean, there were so many late bloomers through, the course of the Josh Heupel era here at Tennessee, and doesn't happen overnight, but the more reps that Nate Robinson gets, the better he's going to be. And I think he got a taste of that against a very solid team in Syracuse. Now you have another opportunity tomorrow to get after it and make a bigger name for yourself. And then before you know it, this is a guy that has 2 sacks, 7 tackles on the season at, by the way, an interior lineman spot, which is very, very impressive. You don't see a lot of these, big boys in the trenches get 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 tackles. It doesn't really happen. That wasn't intentional. It doesn't really happen, but you do need that momentum building into Georgia, because this is a team that's going to run all over you, and they're going to establish that early. So the sooner you figure out how good and how I guess successful of a player you can be in your role, the sooner this defense and this defensive front that lost a lot, by the way, after last season, the sooner you'll find your identity going into SEC play.
Yeah, good points there, Tyler. All right, when we come back, best bets, look ahead / best bets of the weekend presented by VIP Play. College football, NFL, both this weekend. We'll talk about it on the other side. Stay right here. It's Overtime on Fan Run Radio.
Citizens National Bank.
Kick off this football season with a CNB Plus Perks checking account. Move downfield with free online and mobile banking. And cross the goal line with extended evening hours and Saturday banking. Banking at CNB has its perks. Find out more at cnbtn.com.
Citizens National Bank. Banking never felt so good.
Member FDIC.
When it's past high noon, it's time for a vodka soda made with a vodka you've actually heard of. I'm talking White Claw vodka soda made with White Claw premium vodka. JB Smooth only drinks vodka soda made with the world's smoothest vodka.
And you can too. Pick you up a bottle of the triple wave filtered vodka that's been distilled 5 times. White Claw premium vodka comes in 4 flavors: black cherry, mango, pineapple, and just vodka. You haven't had vodka like this. No one has. White Claw premium vodka. Please drink responsibly.
Rickard Ridge Barbecue, located in beautiful Cove Lake State Park. Rickard Ridge is home of the best ribs in the Volunteer State. Smoked daily by Pitmaster Mark Rickard. The barbecue at Rickard Ridge is mouth-watering, fall-off-the-bone delicious. Take the scenic drive up I-75 to exit 134. For directions and to look at the rest of the menu, visit Rickard Ridge online at rickardridgebbq.com.
Hey, Vols fans, Cody Brown here. I grew up right here in Tennessee and know what it means when someone says, I've got your back. That's why you can trust Farm Bureau Insurance of Tennessee. Whether it's your home, your vehicle, your family's future, or the business you built from the ground up, we will show up for all of your insurance needs. We are Tennesseans who understand what matters, which is doing right by you. Insurance is not all about just paperwork and policies, but it's about the people we insure every day. So if you want insurance that hits home, give me a call at 865-992-3871. Go Vols.
Yee-haw! I've been hooting and hollering ever since I started betting with the VIP Play app. VIP Play has more than 200 leagues, every bet type you can imagine, live betting and live hosts, all with 24/7 support from real live people when you need them. Start betting better with the VIP Play app today.
Don't be a better, be a better with VIP Play today.
Download VIP Play today or head to VIPPlayApp.com. Make sure you use the promo code FANRUN to take advantage of their welcome bonus and so they know that we sent you. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-8899-9789. Must be 21 or older and located in Tennessee to bet.
Every day I'm hustling. 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 Who you suckers think you're tripping with? Yes, I'm the
All right,
boss.
back here on overtime. Now time for our best bets of the night / the weekend, presented by VIP Play. Folks, football season is officially back, and that means you need to get in on the action with VIP Play. Go claim your VIP Play welcome bonus, and when you make your first bet of $5 or more, you'll get $100 instantly in bonus bets by using the code FANRUN. That's FANRUN in all caps to claim those bonus bets, and new and more convenient deposit and withdrawal methods have been added. So now the experience on the app is as seamless as ever. If it's Tennessee football, the Tennessee Titans, whatever it may be, you can bet on VIP Play if you're here in Tennessee. Gambling problem, call 1-800-889-9789. Must be 21 years or older and located in Tennessee to bet. Okay, I have not finalized all my picks, and I'll have that finalized in the morning, but these are my current leans as we sit here on Friday at 6:50. We'll begin with Iowa and Iowa State, a rivalry matchup. This one's going to be played at Iowa State. This is a fishy line. I've not been that impressed with Iowa State so far this season, and the fact that they're only getting a field goal at home tells me that on a neutral site field, Iowa's probably a pick'em or a -1 favorite. I take Iowa here plus the 3.5 on the field goal. Defensively, we know what Iowa's going to be. They're going to be tough. They're going to be rough. It all comes down to if their offense is able to produce enough points. So I lean Iowa plus the 3.5 right now. Baylor SMU. We've done a lot of talking about this one this week, and I like the Bears. SMU, a college football playoff team last year, is only -2.5 at home. Vegas is begging you. They're on their hands and knees. Please take the Mustangs. I'm taking the Bears here. Sawyer Robertson, one of the strongest quarterbacks in the country, had 413 yards last week. It might be a little bit of window dressing, some box score watching to say that, as he did miss a couple of throws, but there were also a lot of drops from the Bears last week, and it was an embarrassing loss against Auburn at home. I think Baylor is still a really good team. I expect them to bounce back and get a win on the road. I think they're a better team than SMU. SMU has Kevin Jennings, but he struggled last year against Clemson and Penn State in the final 2 games, 5 interceptions. They lose a lot defensively from last year's group. I think Baylor's a little bit more established offensively, and they get the upset win on the road. So I lean Baylor right now. Going down the list, I've got a couple of questions about South Florida and Florida. I'm staying away from this one because I do think South Florida at the plus 17.5 is a solid number, but I haven't seen this Gators team go up against a really competitive squad, and we'll learn that this weekend. But it's just too many points right now at the 18.5 to give Florida the upper hand and not take a South Florida because this could be a really good Florida team. They could wax them by 28, or this could be a close one. I don't have a good enough read to bet on it, so I'm personally staying away. We'll go down the list. Tomorrow night's banger game on ABC, Michigan, the Wolverines, Bryce Underwood heads into Norman to take on the Sooners. This is going to be a ranked versus ranked system play for me. Anywhere between -3 and -14 is the home team, and that fits the criteria for Oklahoma here, a 59% ATS win rate over the last 2.5 seasons I've been doing this. I'm taking Oklahoma tomorrow. That is a confirmed bet. Oklahoma minus the 5.5. Couple more leans real quick. Arizona State minus the 6.5 on the road at Mississippi State. I think Mississippi State's getting a lot of credit for a win last week over a Southern Miss team that has a lot of newness to them. And that was a smaller line. I think Mississippi State was about a 14-point favorite, and they covered. But this is a group that has a lot to figure out, and this is a really good Arizona State team. C.J. Fite, one of the best defensive tackles in the Big 12. Xavier Alford in the secondary, one of the strongest safeties in the conference. And then offensively, Marcus Ario was a top offensive coordinator in the country last season, was the only offensive coordinator nominated for the Broyles Award, which goes to the best assistant coach / coordinator in college football. The only offensive guy was Marcus Ario. And you return Sam Leavitt at quarterback, who was the Big 12 newcomer of the year last year. Jordan Tyson, a top 5 receiver in the country. Shimon Mateer, one of the best tight ends in the country. I just think it's too much offense for this Mississippi State team to handle. I lean Arizona State -6.5. Those are kind of the big games. Ole Miss has had some interesting line movement against Kentucky today. At one point, this was 8.5. At one point, this was 10. We've now gotten back to 9.5. I would lean the Rebels here because I think they're a little bit better on both sides of the football. But a guy to watch for this Kentucky team is going to be Dante Daddle, the running back for the Wildcats. Had a really good week last week. I think it could be the X factor for this Kentucky team and possibly keeping this one close. I lean Ole Miss because I think their staff and roster is better. But this is an interesting opener for the Rebels going up against a team that beat them last season in Kentucky. So those are my current leans, and one of my sides will be Oklahoma. The other game I want to touch on, and this is the final one, is Illinois and Duke, and I've gone back and forth on this one. I felt like Duke at the +2.5 was a doopy line, but this one has since dropped from 3 to 2.5 on some books. You can still find the +3. I think Illinois is just the better group here. Darren Mensah, the highest paid quarterback in college football for the Blue Devils, comes over from Tulane, makes $4 million. I don't mind taking the +3 for Duke here. It's an early kick, which might favor the Blue Devils, but I just think Illinois has got a really good defense here. So I right now lean Illinois at the 2.5 as kind of, unsharp as it is, as square as that is, I should say. I look at Illinois right now as being one of those plays that is fake sharp, Duke being one of those plays that is fake sharp. They try to get you to bite on that 2.5, questioning the line, but I think Illinois is a better team. So I'll have my full card out tomorrow. You can follow on the Fox Sports Knoxville channels and also at the Patafax for the full card. I'll put that out in the morning, and you can tail along with me. I really do appreciate all the love we received last week, even despite having a little bit of a tough start to the season. But we'll bounce back. Don't worry. The record speaks for itself. Over the last 2 seasons, up 20 units. So that's 20 times your money. Pretty good system we've got going. Okay, hour number 2, week 2 of college football, week 1 of the NFL. We've got plenty to cover. It's a great feeling to have a Friday, and you almost got too much to cover. We'll break it down on the other side. Stay right here. It's Overtime, presented by VIP Play on Fan Run Radio.
Follow us on Twitter or X or whatever the they're calling it these days at Fox Sports Knox, Fox Sports Knoxville, Fan Run Radio.
It's time for the North Knox Siding and Windows High School Football Player of the Week. Brought to you by North Knox Siding and Windows. Call 865-689-0505 or visit them online at northknoxsidingandwindows.com.
This week's North Knox Siding and Windows High School Football Player of the Week is Gibbs High School's Seth Sieber. Sieber led the Eagles to a 24-21 win at Halls last week. Sieber led the way defensively with 12 total tackles and 5.5 sacks, 4 tackles for loss, and a pass broken up as Gibbs improved to 2-0 on the season. Gibbs High School's Seth Sieber, this week's North Knox Siding and Windows High School Football Player of the Week.
North Knox Siding and Windows, locally owned and operated. They can handle all your siding, window, gutter, and roofing needs. Call 865-689-0505 for a free estimate or go online to northknoxsidingandwindows.com.
Located in Knoxville's historic Old City, Barley's offers great food, live music, the best draft beer selection in town, and now your new favorite place to watch sports. Their indoor projector is perfect for any weather, and they've revamped their upstairs area with more TVs to take in all of the action. Their menu features hand-battered chicken tenders, juicy burgers, fresh salads, and the tastiest pizza in Knoxville. You can enjoy their happy hour drink specials daily from open until 6 p.m. Barley's Tap Room and Pizzeria.
Got a problem tree looming over your home? Call ECR Total Landscapes. Whether it's trimming, removal, or storm cleanup, our certified pros get the job done safely and efficiently. We're licensed, insured, and ready 24/7 for emergency calls. Big or small, we cut them all. ECR Total Landscapes. Call now for a free estimate, 865-384-2012, and mention promo code FANRUN for free stump grinding on any tree removal now through the end of the year. Also, visit us at ecrtotallandscapes.com.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. Go ahead, feel your engine. Admire that perfectly installed exhaust. Your vehicle's moving along this freeway like it was made from fresh installs and a whole lot of love. With eBay Motors, you get over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
The buzzer has sounded. We are headed to overtime with William Pattison on Fox Sports Knoxville. This is Fan Run Radio.
Here we go. Hour number 2 on a Big Orange Friday. We appreciate you listening along with us, however you may be doing it. It's overtime, presented by VIP Play. Jeremy Inslee, Jackson Freeman, Tyler Barbaras. I'm William Pattison. Big hour number 2 on tap. We got a lot to cover today as we've got week 2 of college football, week 1 of the NFL. Also kind of talk a little bit about last night's opener between the Cowboys and Eagles. The Cowboys looked a bit stronger than I thought, but a similar result as it's been against some of the top tier teams in the NFC at the end of the day, but the Cowboys had their opportunities. So we'll talk about that a little bit later on, week 1 of the NFL season in the second segment, and then also our final thoughts before we get out of here and get this opening weekend in Neyland Stadium kicked off. But we've got to talk some college football. Is obviously this is not going to be as strong of a slate as we saw in week 1. There are not going to be as many ranked-on-ranked matchups, but we do have some really good games. And we'll begin with the top of the slate tomorrow at 12 o'clock. You've got Illinois versus Duke. That's on ABC. Iowa State. That's on Fox. Baylor, SMU. You can watch Criminal Minds in the morning and then see some football on the CW network with Baylor and SMU. So we'll cover this first slate of games first and talk about the one you're most intrigued by. And I'm going to go back to this Baylor-SMU matchup because I think that a lot of people are still high on this SMU team because of them making the playoffs last year. Let's remember what they looked like in the final 2 games of the year and also the type of teams they beat. SMU did not have that strong of a strength of schedule last year, but they were able to navigate their way through a new quarterback. In the beginning of the season, it was Preston Stone was the original starter when this Mustangs team struggled with Nevada in the opener. And then Kevin Jennings ended up taking over, and this team was better. But against quality competition, this was not that good of a team. Baylor, a team I was very high on coming into the season. I like Sawyer Robertson a lot. I was a tad disappointed with last week in his performance. I thought he missed on a couple of throws. But Baylor as a team, disappointed. You cannot allow a kick return touchdown. You cannot continue to fail to convert on 4th down, and that's what the Bears did in their own building. But now they've got an opportunity to go play spoiler in the second week of the season. I think they're the better team here, and I think this is a opportunity for them to bounce back after a tough loss last week. So I look at that Baylor-SMU game as the one I'm most keyed in on in that opening window. There's some good ones, but Baylor SMU piques my interest. Jeremy, we'll welcome you to the show. Happy to have you in.
What's going on? What's going on with you, William?
Nothing much, man. Happy to have you back. Happy that we've got NFL and college football this weekend.
That is for sure. That is for sure, man. And hey, once again, always much appreciation for you all having me on. What's up, Tyler? And what's up to Jackson? No, man. Nice to meet you there, dog. My name is Jeremy. So, hey, look forward to talking football with you this season. But William, yeah, definitely looking forward to this weekend. Like we discussed during the break. Hey, this is a good weekend to sit back, relax, maybe get you a little stiff drink, and enjoy you some football though.
Yeah, we'll get a couple of Surfsides rolling. We appreciate our friends there at Surfside for helping us out here at Fan Run Radio. When you look at that kind of first slate of games, that 12 o'clock window, what game are you keying in on?
Kind of going to key in on this USF and Florida game.
Okay.
A little bit. USF came out last week, very impressive win over Boise State, 34-7, putting up some pretty good numbers. Let's see here, going rushing for 117. Low on penalties. So obviously, they've shown improvement on the offensive side of the ball, being able to overcome some of the struggles that they had last year, passing for over 250 yards with a total of over 370. So like you mentioned in the first hour, Florida not really showing what they are truthfully against a quality opponent. So will they come in struggling against this USF team who has shown to actually have a pretty staunch defense? This defense has continued to improve and roll over these last couple of years, ever since the performance that they had a couple of years ago against my Bama boys when we went down there. And I think they held us to under 17 or under 20, something like that. But so this game has a potential to, dare I say, maybe have upset tendencies to it. So I think that this would be a very key game to look at. And for those who maybe want to be a little bit daring on throwing out a little money, hey, this may be a way to hit some good plus odds over the weekend.
Yeah, look, it's hard to win inside the swamp, but the way Byron Brown and that offense worked last week against a Boise State defense that is pretty good. I mean, that was a group that last year led the country in sacks leading up to the college football playoff, and they do a great job of getting in the backfield. Byron Brown, a slippery runner, and the ability to weave his way out of the pocket and extend some plays, make some big ones. I just think the Florida bodies are going to be what is really tough for them to get over, because even at moments last week when USF took on Boise State, the Broncos were able to get in the backfield a couple of times and were able to put a lot of pressure on Byron Brown. I think Florida returning a couple of key contributors like a Caleb Banks in the interior is going to be what really makes life difficult for this team. I think Florida wins. There is a good opportunity, as you said, for some plus money if you're big on the South Florida Bulls. I think it's just going to be too tough for them to overcome those bodies, though. And as we know, the line of scrimmage, can be big in these matchups.
Oh, goodness, yes. But proceed. I ain't got nothing to say.
Tyler, when you look at kind of this first window of games, what are you looking for?
Yeah, I'm very interested with the Duke-Illinois matchup because Illinois is a very good team for that all of us know. I mean, they had a very, very impressive week one performance, and they're trying to continue and build that momentum. But this is a game against Duke where the line is only Illinois minus 2.5.
Yeah.
You got to play on the road. I'm not saying it's going to be a chaotic, crazy environment, but this is a ranked team. Second week of the regular season, Duke is 1-0 after coming off a nice 45-17 victory over Elon last week. So both sides got some momentum, and both sides are pretty hungry. And the way that this line has opened and now it's down to minus 2.5, it makes me feel like this is going to be indeed a tight game down to the wire. But I mean, this is an Illinois team that if you want to have any chance at making the college football playoff, you cannot lose this game. These are the games that you have to win, especially as a Big Ten school playing an ACC school, a weaker ACC school. I mean, there are a lot of weak ACC teams, but this is a game that you cannot lose. And that spread really does concern me if Illinois is going to handle business or not. So I'm looking into that one. And then obviously Iowa State.
Yeah.
That'll be a fun one. I'm surprised that we got to see this in week 2 and not later in the season where maybe it means a little bit more. But Iowa State, they look fairly good. I mean, week 0, they beat Kansas State. That was a very good win. And then last week looked a little bit iffy, but
I don't know if Kansas State's now a really good win, though, because look at the way Kansas State has played since then. I mean, they struggled with North Dakota last week, Tyler. I mean, that was in their own building.
My thing is, though, is at the time it was seen as a good win.
And that is true, but now we've, had 2 weeks to watch Kansas State and Iowa State play. And it took a fire drill to beat a FCS team last week.
Sure.
In their own building.
Yeah. I'm with you. It's a bad look for, I guess, both Kansas State now that, you're really, really disappointing and like, what the hell do we do now? 1-1 rather than we just got outplayed in week 0 type 1-1. I'd rather be in the first boat than we just played terrible. And this is still a good team, but you looked bad last week. But for Iowa State, I mean, at the time, that was an important win. That was a game that you needed to win if you're the Cyclones. And now you have a gritty Iowa team that we know likes to run the football. They have a very stout defense year in and year out. And I mean, this is going to be a game where you're going to see a lot of Iowa yellow and a lot of Cyclone red. So I'm intrigued. And the fact that this is at 12 o'clock, I'll be able to watch it. So
there you go.
Looking forward to that one. But I do really, really like this 12 o'clock slate.
Jackson, that early slate for you on Saturday, which one you have your eye on? I think I might know your answer here.
Actually, I'm going to go way out in left field here. I'm really interested in the Florida State Texas A&M Commerce game.
Wow. Okay.
And Florida State, they're coming off a huge win against Alabama. Castellanos, their quarterback, talked a whole lot of crap, backed it up.
We know.
Are they going to come out this week and get caught sleeping, get caught hungover?
Yeah.
We saw it happen to Alabama last year after beating Georgia, biggest win of the season. They go and play a team in Vanderbilt that they should have beat them by 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
And they get embarrassed. Teams, it happens. You get caught sleeping. I'm really interested to see if this Florida State team is truly back or if they just caught a bad Alabama team at the right time and they fumble it tomorrow.
That's a good point. I like that, Jackson. I mean, we mentioned it earlier. I mean, Notre Dame was coming off a big-time win against Texas A&M in week 1 last year, and they play Northern Illinois and lose by a field goal. Like, rat poison is real in college football because, again, these guys are 18, 19, 20-year-old kids. They hear the talk. They turn on the TV. They watch SportsCenter. They see the kind of hype they're getting, and Florida State was the talk of the town last week. Now, I don't think Texas A&M Commerce.
Texas A&M Commerce.
Yeah. I don't think Texas A&M Commerce is necessarily the team that's going to trip them up, but I could see like that spot, though, that situational spot. I could see that if this were maybe like a MAC team or, a little bit like a Conference USA, something like that, maybe I could see a possible upset here. I don't think Texas A&M Commerce will have the personnel, but I think it is a good situational spot, as you mentioned.
I don't think they're going to, by any means, upset Florida State, but I could see a scenario where Florida State maybe only wins by 10 points.
Yeah.
Or 14 points.
Yeah, good point. I like that. Yeah. That will be a game that obviously probably not a lot of people will be tuned into, but could be one to watch for sleepwalking is a real thing. Rat poison is a real thing. We used to hear Nick Saban talk about that all the time. Looking at that second half of the slate now, kind of that 3:30 and beyond area, I kind of feel like the game you're looking at is, Kansas and Missouri. So I'm going to let you take that one because I know you want to talk about that. I think Vanderbilt, Virginia Tech is interesting because Vanderbilt is this line's very, very short. I think it's the Commodores are +2, +1 on the road at Virginia Tech. Kyron Drones looked bad last week against South Carolina. This was a guy that was supposed to be a big-time player.
Drone strike. What happened, man?
Oh, gosh. Drone strike that just goes all over the stadium and to the other team. This is a guy that had a lot of hype when he got on campus, and he's kind of like Justin Herbert. It's like if this guy is able to be better, in late game situations, if this guy has the right defense around him, if this guy has some better offensive weapons. I thought Virginia Tech had all of that. I thought their defense was strong. They got a couple of wide receivers that can flat out ball.
Yeah.
Drones just made a ton of bad mistakes. Diego Pavia and company walk in. Pavia is a guy that is always going to have a high motor.
Yep.
Eli Stowers, probably the best tight end in the country for this Vanderbilt team. He's really, really strong. This is a group that I believe, has a lot of momentum, has a lot of confidence in themselves. It's going to be a tough environment to go play at VT, though. We know Sandstorm. We know what it's like playing in where is it? What city? Blacksburg. Yeah, Blacksburg, Virginia. 7:30 kicks can be tough. But I do think that Vanderbilt has the opportunity to go and get a meaningful win on the road and then start to kind of put to rest a lot of that offseason talk per se. Now, obviously, you got to get into SEC play, but a win over Virginia Tech, I think, solidifies that, yeah, we are a team that's going to be able to contend. We're getting our wins in the out-of-conference. We're going to go into conference play with some momentum. I'm not saying Vanderbilt's going to be a top-tier team in the SEC, but Diego Pavia has done a lot of talking this offseason, similar to a Thomas Castellanos, I should say, as he was Tommy at BC. Now he's Thomas at Florida State, especially with the way he played. But Pavia's done a lot of talk. Can he walk the walk against Virginia Tech? I think that's an intriguing storyline. And what does Kyron Jones look like after a pretty tough performance? Maybe VT at some point this season has to move on from him. And for a guy that talented, it'd be a sad story for him. But I think VT was susceptible to bad quarterback play, which resulted in leaving points on the board in the red zone and giving South Carolina a lot of chances last week. Vanderbilt's got to make sure they take advantage of those opportunities, get Virginia Tech to turn the ball over, and I think they'll be able to silence the crowd that way. I like a lot of the games. Arizona State, Mississippi State's, I think, intriguing, but Vanderbilt VT is one that not a whole lot of people are talking about, and I look at that one this week as an intriguing matchup in the late slate. Obviously, Michigan, Oklahoma going to be the headliner, but don't sleep on VT and Vandy. Jeremy, when you look at that later half of the slate, which game are you keying in on?
Well, I mean, sitting here looking at it, I guess that you got to really go Michigan, Oklahoma.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's
that's the
too.
biggest. That's the biggest game of this week. Can the freshman of Michigan repeat the performance that he had last week?
Yeah.
Actually going into now a hostile environment,
Sure.
a true road game test for you against a quality opponent. And then can John Mateer basically replicate what he did last week with a stunning performance that he had? Can this Oklahoma defense continue to improve and show that they can have these moments against actually quality opponents as well? This will be a good litmus test, I think, for both programs to actually see where you are and possibly knowing the outlook that you have for the season. If Oklahoma is able to really come in, with the home crowd behind them, if they're able to come in and show that they can possibly move the line against, because Michigan is always prided themselves on both sides of the ball on the line. If they can show that they can compete with these boys in the trenches, you're talking about possibly Oklahoma having the outlook to compete not only just for a high playoff spot, but maybe even for a championship run. Not saying that they'll make the game, but I'm just saying maybe to even threaten that game. But for Michigan, if your young QB can come in and show the same poise and things that he did in week one, the future is bright for you.
Yeah.
The future is real bright. The next 2 years of Michigan football, you would have to be excited for. So this game, I believe, is a game that is hype only for the hopeful and for the future. That's what I view this game as, for sure.
Bryce Underwood, that phenomenal 5-star quarterback out of this past recruiting class, made his debut last week for the Wolverines against New Mexico. Wasn't the strongest performance for the team, but Bryce Underwood did his job. He was impressive. John Mateer of Oklahoma, a little bit of a slow start for this Oklahoma offense, but he was equally impressive. I've been higher on Oklahoma than a lot of other people in the offseason. And I think that John Mateer is a top 10 quarterback in college football. I had him at number 7 right before the season began. Ben Arbuckle, the offensive coordinator from Wazoo, where Mateer was last season, he comes over, takes over the same role as OC for the Sooners. And Brent Venables goes back to strictly calling the defense. And that's what he did at Clemson, had so much success there. You're going to see those cheetah packages this season. I think the Oklahoma defense has the opportunity to really come on strong in this one and rattle a young quarterback on the road. I think Bryce Underwood's going to be really good. I think he'll be really successful long term. This is a tough matchup early. Eli Bowen, the cornerback for the Sooners, made some big-time plays as a freshman last season. I think he's going to have to step up in this one. Causing, a turnover in this game for a young quarterback is how you start to flip things on its head. I think if Oklahoma is able to cause one turnover in the first half, get a possession advantage, I think this John Mateer-led offense will get going, expecting to see more carries and more action from Jaden Ott, the running back transfer from California. Over 3,400 yards all-purpose throughout his career. Did not get a ton of looks last week, which was kind of concerning because he was one of the top guys out of the portal at the position, was one of the big acquisitions for the Sooners. But I look for him to get more involved. Deion Burks looked good last week. That's a guy they really need to be healthy, as he was good for them last season, but got banged up, the former Purdue transfer. He's their top guy at wide receiver this season. He's got to be strong, and I think he will. Overall, I like Oklahoma in this game. We talked about it during the best bet segment. I've got them at the -5.5. I'm intrigued by this because of that quarterback matchup, though, as you mentioned, Jeremy. Bryce Underwood, I think, will be good. I give the edge to the more experienced John Mateer. And, folks, watch out. This guy can use his wheels, too. This guy can get out and run and make some big-time plays. Tyler, the game you're looking for in the second window.
Yeah, well, real quick, William.
Just want to touch on the Michigan game, sure.
Yes. We saw what happened last weekend with Texas and Ohio State, two young quarterbacks that have very limited experience. And you saw the quarterback at home play a more poised game, a more efficient game, and that team ended up winning. Then the player on the road, that being Arch Manning, had a rougher game and wasn't as poised and made a lot of bad decisions in his throws, and he was off his timing. Not comparing, Oklahoma's environment to the shoe, but it does kind of feel like one of those situations where the home team has way more of an advantage than the road team. And yes, that's how college football works. A home team always gets the advantage. But I feel like if this game were to be in Ann Arbor, right, you would see this spread ultimately look in Michigan's favor rather than in Oklahoma's favor. So for that reason, William, I completely agree with your point here because John Mateer, unlike Bryce Underwood, has a year of experience at the college football level at a very, very good program. And now you bring in this SEC environment. Like I was saying yesterday, this is arguably the most difficult environment Bryce Underwood is going to have to play in this season, especially too when it's in week 2 of the regular season and you're still trying to find out, what type of team you are. Michigan didn't look too great last week against William. Help me out here.
New Mexico,
the Lobos. But we saw what happened in his debut game. It's not going to get better on the road at Oklahoma against a significantly better team. So for that reason, William, I'm going to have to agree with you, and I have to side there with the -5.5 on Oklahoma. But in the mid-game slate, I really want to see Oklahoma State finally do something.
Oh gosh, Tyler.
Now, okay, this isn't a game that I'm saying I'm going to sit down and watch it from start to finish. Yeah, they play Oregon.
You know the spread for this game is?
Yes, it's 25.5.
30.
Even worse.
They're going to get the doors beat off.
What I want to see, though, from Oklahoma State is just some sort of grit to where they're at least in this game for at least 15 to 20 minutes. And I do think it is possible. I mean, I haven't been as high on Dante Moore as some other people are. I mean, overall, Oregon is a fantastic team, and they have such a good head coach up there in Dan Lanning, and they're going to handle business. But this is an Oklahoma State team that, for their own pride, go out there and compete, at least for the first half. And I know that's what they're going to try and do, and they can still get the break speed off of them. But this is a game that, like I said last week, with Florida State at Alabama, Like, this could be a little bit closer than people think in the first half. Yes, Oregon's going to run away with it. But when he said that last week, Florida State won. So I'm not saying Oklahoma State's going to come in here and upset number 6 Oregon at their place in Eugene. But I do think this game could be a little bit closer than other people expect.
Okay. They got a backup quarterback playing this week. Their starter, Hans Henry, last week broke his.
He was out.
Yeah, he's done. So he's out, and now you got to try to backup quarterback to go play in Eugene. Fact check on me, actually, not 30. It's 28-point spread, so they're up a 4-touchdown favorite. But the line opened 29.5, moved down a little bit. I guess they're giving the Cowboys a little bit of credit here. But
benefit of the doubt.
That opening line was like, don't even bother getting on the bus, Oklahoma State. But I'm more interested to see if Oregon's able to put the foot on the throat and get things going. Dan Lanning has always been a guy that loves to perform early in the season and kind of insert dominance. Now, I think the Colorado game a couple of years ago was a little bit different because that Colorado team came in undefeated. They were kind of, had a little bit of swag, a little too much swag, too much confidence, walking on the Oregon logo in the middle. And
I hated every part of that.
I like it. I like it. It brings storylines, Tyler. That's what we're in. We're in the industry of storylines and talking points. I loved it.
I just thought it was childish from that point.
But Dan Lanning, like Michael Jordan once said, he took that personally. And Oregon just had a day with Colorado, and that won 42-3 the final, I believe. But I think I could see something similar in this one where Dante Moore, first-year starting quarterback for Oregon, former 5-star, had an okay showing against Montana last week, or Montana State's one of those. Now gets the opportunity to level up the competition a little bit, a Power 4 school, but really showcase what he can do. Jackson, I left it for you, hoping you're going to go with the game I anticipate you would go for, but go ahead and share.
For the first time in 14 seasons, Kansas and Missouri are going to face off for the border war. And, this is a game that we were just absolutely robbed of in 2012 when Missouri joined the SEC. These teams have played, I want to say, 120 times.
Mm-hmm.
And Missouri leads the total series 57-54. They've had 9 ties. And these teams played every year since 1919 up until 2011.
Yeah.
So it is just utterly ridiculous this game got taken from us.
Yeah.
But now it is back, at least for this year. I'm not sure how far into the future we will get this game, but I know for tomorrow at 3:30 while I'm in the student section at Neyland Stadium, I will be on my phone checking the score of this game.
As you should.
And watching Kansas, my Jayhawks, not at all affiliated with them, but my Jayhawks whip the heck out of the Missouri Tigers.
Well, the interesting part about this game, you got 2 new quarterbacks, and kind of a theme in a lot of these games, as we were talking about with Oklahoma, Michigan, 2 new quarterbacks. For this Kansas-Missouri one, we've got a quarterback that is brand new in Bo Perbula for Missouri. Jalon Daniels, 6th year of college football. He's a stud when he's healthy, and he's been healthy so far this season. Kansas, the best characteristic they've had this year so far, speed. They've been so good at speed and using the full length of the field to make plays with the receivers and as well as Jalon Daniels. I think the biggest key for Missouri, if they're wanting to get a win here, they've got to get to Jalon Daniels. They've got to get into the backfield, and it's important not just to put pressure, but to wrap up and bring him down. This is a guy that can move all around, is very athletic, is very good at cutting and finding his way as a ball carrier, great ball carrier vision. If you're Missouri, a jersey tug and, an arm here and there, not going to bring this guy down. He's that elusive. And then on the other side for Missouri, I think offensively, this is where they win the game. Last week we saw them against Central Arkansas, and I get it, Central Arkansas, but Bo Perbula was really strong. He was able to do the same with his legs. Had a really, really good run down the middle of the field that led to a touchdown. He's still getting a grasp of this offense, but I thought it was an impressive debut. Kansas plus 6.5 right now on the books. I'm really intrigued to take the Jayhawks just because of the experience of the quarterback and the system and the speed. But that's going to be another really good game as well. Plenty of great action this weekend in college football. We'll break it all down on Monday as we're going to have plenty of action to talk about, including Tennessee and ETSU. But we've also got the NFL back this week. And last night, Actually had a really good game between the Cowboys and Eagles. It got extended a little bit too. So if you're a little bit of a night owl like myself, you got some bonus time. You got the little lightning delay during the middle of the game. We got to watch football even later. I was cool with it. Now, for some people that like to go to bed a little bit early, you're probably a little bit more upset, but I was all for it. I'm up. I want to watch some football. I loved it. And we got plenty of it this week as well. Tonight, the Chiefs and Chargers. And then we've got a loaded Sunday as well that caps off with the Ravens and the Bills. That should be fun. We'll break it down on the other side. Stay right here. It's Overtime, presented by VIP Play on Fan Run Radio.
For the fans, by the fans. This is Fan Run Radio, Knoxville.
Ready to launch your career? Axle Logistics is a leading third-party logistics company where excellence is an energy. With an award-winning culture, Axle proves that positive outcomes come from a positive environment and a work hard, play hard mentality. At Axle, the drive for success is infectious. And with an uncapped commission structure, hard work isn't just noticed, it's rewarded. For those with big goals and even bigger dreams, Axle Logistics is the place to start your career.
North Knox Siding and Windows is a complete exterior home improvement company that can help you with all your home exterior needs. If your home needs new siding, windows, doors, gutters, handrails, a deck, or a new roof, then give my friends at North Knox Siding and Windows a call at 865-689-0505. You can also visit their showroom at 5618 North Broadway. Locally owned and operated and proudly serving all of Knoxville and the surrounding areas, North Knox Siding and Windows. Online at northknoxsidingandwindows.com.
Have you ever found yourself wishing your clothes looked brand new again? Whether it's your favorite suit, that little black dress, or your comfy winter coat, Crown Cleaners can make it happen. From stubborn stains to delicate fabrics, the expert team at Crown Cleaners uses the latest cleaning technology to ensure your clothes come back looking and feeling fresh. Visit one of their 2 area locations, Kingston Pike on Bearden Hill or South North Shore Drive near Dunkin' Donuts. Online at crowncleaners.com. Crown Cleaners, a tradition of excellence.
Fall fans, reimagine your home at Broadway Carpets and Flooring for any remodeling or building needs. With a variety of carpets, rugs, hardwood, vinyl, and stone, Broadway has all the flooring and installation options you're looking for, including pet-resistant products like Pet Perfect Carpet from Shaw Floors. Visit their showroom in downtown Knoxville or the location in West Knoxville located on Kingston Pike near Pellissippi Parkway today.
Hey, Vols fans, Cody Brown here. I grew up right here in Tennessee and know what it means when someone says, I've got your back. That's why you can trust Farm Bureau Insurance of Tennessee. Whether it's your home, your vehicle, your family's future, or the business you built from the ground up, we will show up for all of your insurance needs. We are Tennesseans who understand what matters, which is doing right by you. Insurance is not all about just paperwork and policies, but it's about the people we insure every day. So if you want insurance that hits home, give me a call at 865-992-3871. Go Vols.
Are you tired of hiding your smile because of crooked teeth? At Knoxville Smiles, we've got the perfect solution. Invisalign. No metal, no wires, just clear, comfortable aligners that straighten your teeth without anyone noticing. Eat what you want, smile with confidence, and see results in as little as 6 months. Call us today for more information about Invisalign, 865-539-1776. Or just visit us online at knoxvillesmiles.com. Smile brighter with Knoxville Smiles.
Presidents to represent me. I'm out for presidents to represent me. I'm out for presidents to represent me. I'm out for presidents to represent me.
All right, back here on Overtime, presented by VIP Play. We appreciate you listening along with us, whether it be on the free Fan Run Radio app, 105.7 FM or 1340 AM right here in K-Town on the local dial or on the X/YouTube live stream. However you're listening or watching, we do appreciate your time. We'll switch over to the NFL, where week 1 of the new season has officially arrived. It did last night with the Cowboys and Eagles. We've got the Chiefs and Chargers tonight, and we've got plenty of action on Sunday with a great nightcap of the AFC divisional round last year between a rematch, I should say, between the Ravens and Bills. And folks, before we get into this, there's not a better way to get in on the action for these games this weekend than VIP play. Go claim your VIP play welcome bonus. And when you do, you'll get $100 in bonus bets instantly when you use the code FANRUN and place your first bet of $5 or more. This is the best way to get on the action. You're sitting on the couch. You're trying to find something to do. You just kind of want to feel something, right? You just want to put a little sprinkle maybe on a big-time money line underdog or something like that. Maybe just, want to, I guess hit like a plus 300 team and then pay for your dinner, your pizza, whatever it may be. You can do that on VIP play. Use the code FANRUN, $5. You get $100 instantly in bonus bets. Bet on the Tennessee Volunteers tomorrow to crush ETSU. Bet on the Titans if you want to. Actually, the Titans are a pretty sharp play this week. Everyone and their mother is on the Broncos. I don't love it, and that's why I don't do NFL handicapping, because it's just an absolute zoo trying to figure out these lines and which teams to take, because the sharps will tell you to take the Panthers when they're on the road against the Chiefs because it's sharp, and then at halftime they'll be down 35-0. So that's why I stay away from it. But I will say, sharps are liking the Titans this week. They're a big-time public, or, the Broncos are a big-time public side. But outside of that, we've got plenty of action, and you can bet on it with VIP play. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-889-9789. Must be 21 years or older and located in Tennessee to bet. Let's look at these games, beginning with tonight's action, Chargers and Chiefs. We've got a Chiefs fan. We got Patty Mahomes in the house. How many people on the radio right now have Patty Mahomes in the house over here? Jackson donning the Patrick Mahomes jersey. I look at this game, and this is going to be a really good division, the AFC West. I mean, this is a group that returns the Broncos that were a playoff team last year. The Chargers were a playoff team. The Chiefs obviously were able to make it all the way to the Super Bowl once again. The Raiders are going to be better with Pete Carroll, and Geno Smith comes in. This is going to be a competitive division. I like the Chargers in this division. We talked about it earlier in the week. To win the division, I like the Chargers. I think the Chiefs are the better team when it comes to postseason time. But I think this Chiefs squad has continued to kind of deteriorate in the regular season, where last year in one-score games, this team was really, really good. But the margin of victory, always within about a possession. It's hard to do that year over year. If there were a team to do it, it would be one led by Patrick Mahomes. But I have a tough time seeing that this year. I lean Chargers tonight. Again, I try to stay out of the NFL. It's a money loser for me. But I lean the Chargers at the plus 3.5 or 3, because I think it's going to be a really good battle, because I believe in what Jim Harbaugh does. He's established the run. When he arrived, was a guy that would throw 40 times a game. And when I say I'm talking about Justin Herbert.
Okay.
Would air it out 40 times a game. Harbaugh said, no. We're not going to do that. We're going to establish the run, lean on an offensive line that we have established in the draft over the last couple of years. And we got a guy in Omarion Hampton do the Chargers, a guy out of North Carolina, a rookie. I think he's going to be really good. I think they have an identity now, and I think that's trouble when you look at the type of roster they have. So Chiefs-Chargers is going to be a fun one, played in Brazil. And I think this is an opportunity for the Chargers to show they're for real. And the Chiefs, could get caught lacking tonight. We'll go to Patrick Mahomes real quick.
Patty.
And let him talk about it. Jackson, what do you think about tonight's matchup? I'm sure you will be unbiased here.
No, I think it'll be a really good game. I ultimately think it'll be a one-score finish. The Chargers are a team that give us trouble in the regular season. I saw a stat before I got to work today that said Patrick Mahomes and Justin Herbert have faced off 8 times, and I believe 6 of those 8 matchups have been decided by one score. It just tells the tale of these kind of matchups.
Yeah.
They, division rivalry, it plays close. But I think the Chiefs are going to just come out here and display a kind of football that we haven't seen Kansas City do in a while. They really addressed their biggest issues this offseason when they drafted Josh Simmons out of Ohio State. The clips of that guy in camp and the preseason, I mean, he just looks like he's going to be the future left tackle of Kansas City for the next 10 years. So that's been a place where they've really struggled. Mahomes' blind side. They've also kind of shored up the receiving room a little bit. You don't get Rashee Rice back yet, but you do get Hollywood Brown back, who broke his collarbone preseason week 1 last season. You saw him sparingly the last 2 games of the season, the conference championship and the Super Bowl. So it'll be really interesting to see what he can bring to the table.
Yeah.
I'm really excited about this Chiefs season. I think the tale of them winning one-score games all season will be gone. I think we're going to see more of a 2018, 2019 kind of Chiefs where they're just airing it out, putting up 30-plus points a game.
Yeah.
Big margins of victory.
Yeah. I think establishing that bona fide wide receiver one, I think, will be important. I think Xavier Worthy has that opportunity. Rashee Rice obviously going to miss the first 6 games of the season. Xavier Worthy was a guy that came on strong at the end of last year, kind of similar to what Rashee Rice did the prior season. It was really strong in the second half of the year, became that wide receiver one in the postseason. Obviously, he got into a little bit of trouble and missed some time. Obviously, he got hurt as well last year, but Xavier Worthy kind of took on that role as well. So I'm interested to see what they look like with both those guys healthy. Also, Xavier Worthy, those first 6 games, if he's able to establish himself as that go-to wide receiver one. Jeremy, when you look at this week's slate of games, focused on this Chargers-Chiefs one, or do you take the field in like another game this weekend?
I'll speak on this Chargers-Chiefs game too, because I find this game to be very interesting. I mean, you talk about Amari Hampton, but also the Chargers bringing in Najee Harris.
Yeah.
Bringing in, getting back Keenan Allen. I think that's also huge for them. Now you pair him with the lad McConkey. You're talking about 2 very good route runners, 2 very good zone beater receivers. So I'm very interested to see how this offense will now move. Justin Herbert, only throwing, 2 interceptions, I think, in the regular season last year. So do they try to open it up more now since you bring in the Keenan Allen to pair with a lad McConkey, or do you stick heavy with the run game, knowing that I believe that Najee Harris in this offense can present more matchup problems with this run game that they have. But on the Chiefs side, not having Rashee Rice, but like he mentioned, you bring back Hollywood Brown, you get back Isaiah Pacheco for this season. The one concern I have with them is that will we actually be able to see that explosive? How is Travis Kelce going to look another year older coming out? I mean, the big storyline with him last year was his inability to now get in and out of breaks, and how now he was able to be covered up in man coverage. So that's going to be interesting to see how the Chargers will come out with that. I can see a bunch of situations to where he would be getting passed off. You're talking about him getting possibly rerouted within 5 yards at the line by a backer, then maybe passed off to a safety like Derwin James for coverage down the field. So how all of that would go. Will Xavier Worthy now, since he will be looked upon to be a wide receiver one type of receiver, can he handle that and be able to produce how you need him to for the ball to move for the Kansas City Chiefs? Will Pacheco have basically his legs stuck in mud for these first couple games and things like that? How strong will he be coming out the gate? So I think there's a very interesting storylines coming into this game.
Sure.
I do lean for the Chargers to come out on top of this with a lot of reasons that I just now mentioned and things like that. I think it may take a game for 2 for this offense, for this team to get rolling, but still expect the game to be good, no less. For the Chargers, you basically, this isn't a must win, but just for your psyche and just for your confidence building, you must beat this Chiefs team right now in week 1. So I look for the Chargers to come out strong tonight.
Yeah, also a divisional matchup early in the season, an opportunity to get an upper hand early on the division. Tyler, week 1 slate. I have a feeling where you might go here. What's the game you're watching for this weekend?
Well, real quick, I want to talk about this game tonight, if I could. Patrick Mahomes in his career against the AFC West is 35-5. So the stat that was presented to us earlier was that Mahomes was 7-1 in against Justin Herbert's Chargers in 1-score games, right?
7-1 all time against Justin Herbert, 6-0 in 1-score games.
This game right now, it's Chiefs -3. Why would we bet against Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes in week 1 in a game that is in South America, to where Patrick Mahomes is the face of the NFL? And you know those zebras, you know what side they like to side on. So for all those reasons, I'm taking the Chiefs -3. I don't think you have to overthink it. I like your point, William, about, getting behind what Jim Harbaugh and this Chargers team will do tonight and what they can be and what they're able to do for the rest of the season, because I see it too. I mean, they have everything that they need to be a very successful team this year. I love their rush attack. I love their weapons. Offensive coordinator, that's a whole different story, but I'm bought into what the Chargers have going right now. But to say that they're going to come out and outplay the Kansas City Chiefs in the year 2025, I think is a little too much for my liking. So for that, I'm going to take the Chiefs at -3. But a couple games that I have circled on my calendar. No, I'm not going to talk about the Ravens and Bills.
You should, Tyler. It's a good game.
It is a good game. But there are a couple games that I honestly like a little bit more because I know how the Ravens-Bills game is going to go. But San Francisco at Seattle.
Okay.
I've been raving about Seattle. William and I do not see eye to eye on this whatsoever.
No, we do not.
I think Seattle's going to have a fantastic defense this year. They have a head coach that is one of the best defensive minds in all of football, and Mike McDonald was on the national championship team at Michigan in 2022 as their defensive coordinator. Went to Baltimore. Baltimore had, in 2023, the best defense in football over like a 5-year span. Then you come to Seattle, the building blocks are in place, and you just see this defense consistently getting better year after year. Not to mention, you have Devin Witherspoon, Tariq Woolen on the corners, 2 cornerbacks under the age of 25 who have both only been improving year after year. They have Boye Mafe, Leonard Williams, DeMarcus Lawrence on that defensive line, getting to the quarterback. I think that's a very, very underrated pass rush. Then they also drafted Niki Manwari, safety out of South Carolina. I think he has tremendous upside as just a box-to-box guy, and he's a very dominant guy when he's going from east to west. Reminds me a lot of Patrick Queen in a way. I think this defense has a lot of different packages and coverages that they can apply, and I think they can really make the quarterbacks overthink. And this is a guy in Brock Purdy who they're facing, who we know hasn't been carried by talent, but the talent around him is a massive reason as to why he got paid $50 million a year. Right. And now you look at this team now, and your wide receiver 1 is Jawan Jennings, and wideout 2 is Ricky Pearsall. I don't see a lot of upside with this team, and with the whole Christian McCaffrey injury thing going on right now with his calf, there was a lot of question marks that I have about this 49ers team. And this is a Seattle team that I think got significantly better in the offseason. And yes, they lost a lot of pieces, but I think they did a good job of bringing in pieces that fit what they want to do more. You bring in Sam Darnold. He fits your team better than Geno Smith. You bring in Cooper Kupp. DK Metcalf and JSN weren't working together. But now you bring in a bona fide slot guy who can really open up a lot of different routes and coverages to exploit alongside Jackson Smith and Jigba. And I think that just adds another element to your offense. Not to mention you have a really good running back duo in Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet. I think this offense is going to have a very, very solid game, but I think the defense is going to take the cake. And Seattle is a really hard place to play. I mean, one of the most rabid fan bases. They get after it. And I think this is going to be a game that Seattle handles business in, because I do think that they will ultimately win that NFC West division. Another game, William's going to like this. I'm really intrigued to see the Panthers versus the Jags.
All right, Tyler.
Both teams have so much to prove, especially with their quarterbacks. 2 former first overall picks who their careers haven't necessarily gone the way as planned. Trevor Lawrence's career much more successful than Bryce Young, but Trevor Lawrence has also had a longer career.
Got more time now.
Yeah, he's had a significantly longer career than Bryce Young. But what I saw from Bryce Young in the final 6 to 8 weeks of last season, I was really impressed with. Trevor Lawrence, I know what's there. I know the upside is there. I just want to see something that can make me believe in him again. And I think now you bring into year 2 Brian Thomas. You bring into Travis Hunter. De'Ami Brown, really underrated signing.
Yeah.
I really like Brenton Strange. Their offensive line is still a little bit questionable, but I like the pieces that they have in that backfield there with Tank Bigsby, Bashal Tootin, and Travis Etienne, sadly. But they have a lot of weapons on that offense, and I'm really excited to see what they can do offensively now that you bring in another massive playmaker in Travis Hunter to help, carry the load for
I'm not
T-Law.
going to stunt. If I was you, I would hold pause for that Trevor Hunter sighting, to be real. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I get it. I'm with you, but
Yeah.
I think Hunter is also one of those players that is so dynamic. Doesn't matter what type of quarterback he has, he's still going to eat regardless. But I look at this Panthers team too, and they're kind of like they remind me a little bit of this Jaguars offense in a way where you have a quarterback that is very talented and he's shown a lot of potential and promise in certain aspects. But now you bring in another guy through the draft to help you. Panthers got to Terrell McMillan with their first round pick. I love that connection with Bryce Young and Tet. Then you also have an Xavier Legette. I know you traded Adam Thielen, but Jalen Coker is a guy that the Panthers are really, really high on. I think this game is going to be interesting because there are two different quarterbacks that need to get off to a hot start to start the year. And I think both quarterbacks are going to air the ball out, and it'll be a really, really exciting game. Not to mention, I do appreciate Duval County, and this game's a home game. I've been to the Jaguar Stadium, and it's a good time there. So I'm very intrigued. 1:00 start time. Jacksonville 3.5-point favorites right now.
Yeah, Duval, brother, hoping for a good start to what will be a great season for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Game I'm interested in, Raiders and Patriots, two teams in similar situations. They sign a couple of veterans in the offseason, trying to reestablish themselves as teams that are trying to be competitive. Interested to see how both of them turn out with new coaches and new personnel around them. When we come back, we'll wrap things up. Stay right here. It's Overtime, presented by VIP Play on Fan Run Radio.
Congratulations. You found sports radio that doesn't suck. This is Fan Run Radio, Knoxville.
Got a flat tire? Strange noise under the hood? Don't stress. Roll into Matlock Tire and Auto Service. From oil changes and brake repairs to brand new tires, Matlock's certified techs do it all. Fast, friendly, and fair priced, Matlock is the home of the price match guarantee. Bring in any competitor's ad, and Matlock will match the exact same tire for the exact same price. Matlock Tire and Auto Service. 5 locations in East Tennessee. Visit MatlockTireService.com to find the location nearest you and schedule your appointment.
The number one problem we see at our clinic is delaying treatment. ED can get worse.
Book your appointment right now. Call 865-544-8220. Prefer privacy? Book online in under 30 seconds at menspronaknxville.com.
At our clinics, men's sexual health is the whole job. Look, I'm a normal guy too. I hate going to the doctor, but we've helped so many guys in here just like you. Even if pills have failed, our medical team is going to take the time to talk you through it. Same day in-house lab, and the treatments, well, they could change your life.
Your local medical team has your back. ED, performance, Peyronie's, size and shape modeling. We tailor what works for you.
I'll get to the point. Can you imagine epic performance and epic sex? Yeah, I said it.
A stronger you is closer than you think. We're available right now. Call 865-544-8220 or book in 30 seconds or less at menspronaknxville.com. Men's Pro Knoxville, making it happen.
It's football time at Tennessee, so crack open a cold beer that doesn't fumble the flavor. Garage Beer is 100% beer-flavored beer. No gimmicks, just cold beer. Built for bonfires, backyards, and beating Bama. Garage Beer is proud to be brewed right here in the Volunteer State. So pick up a 12-pack today and look for the drive celebrating Football Fridays at select Garage Beer headquarters around town this fall. American-owned, Tennessee-brewed Garage Beer. 100% beer-flavored beer.
Hey, Vols fans, Cody Brown here. I grew up right here in Tennessee and know what it means when someone says, I've got your back. That's why you can trust Farm Bureau Insurance of Tennessee. Whether it's your home, your vehicle, your family's future, or the business you built from the ground up, we will show up for all of your insurance needs. We are Tennesseans who understand what matters, which is doing right by you. Insurance is not all about just paperwork and policies, but it's about the people we insure every day. So if you want insurance that hits home, give me a call at 865-992-3871. Go Vols.
Tired of waiting for the weekend or good weather to play around? From casual to committed, Back 9 Golf has got you covered. Open to the public and offering flexible membership opportunities, they offer 24/7 access to 5 different simulators, providing cutting-edge technology, instant swing feedback, fun mini games, and a wide variety of courses to choose from. Perfect for that solo round you want after work, or swing by with food and drinks for an afternoon with friends and family. No stressful tee times, no rain delays. It's Back 9 Golf your way. Book your tee time now at theback9golf.com.
Hey, folks, if you're in need of a lawyer, you need to call my friend Jerry Givens. I've known Jerry since high school and can personally vouch for him. He's East Tennessee through and through, and if you're going through a divorce, bankruptcy, or a DUI case, you'll need someone you can trust on your side to help you navigate the local legal system. You can trust Jerry Givens. Call the law offices of Jerry Givens today at 865-801-9250 to schedule your free consultation. That's 801-9250.
All right, back here on Overtime. Final thoughts on this Big Orange Friday. Tennessee and ETSU kick things off tomorrow inside Neyland Stadium, the home opener. You guys going? Both of y'all going? Good deal. I'll be on my couch content creating. Jeremy, you'll be kick back and relaxing.
Yes, definitely.
As you should on a fine Saturday. Final thoughts. You said you wanted someone to talk about. Hopefully we got enough time for it.
Yeah. I'll try to get through this quick then. So last week with my Bama boys against FSU,
sure,
I'm starting to hate this true idea of modern coaching and adding in analytics into coaching decisions, because I felt like the 2 4th downs that we had inside of the red zone, I'm not a hindsight person. In real time, in the real moment, I was saying kick the field goal, because numbers, computers, and analytics cannot measure the rhythm and the feel of a game.
Mm-hmm.
We have been struggling to move the ball to actually get ourselves in scoring positions more times than not.
Mm-hmm.
So when you get a chance to put points on the board, you must take it, because even if you're not getting 7, you're getting 3, but you're changing your scoreboard.
Mm-hmm.
That's changing the momentum within yourself. That's changing the psyche of the team. That can possibly build up morale and momentum. And then I can't remember the sequence, but you have to let things play out as they may, because if we kick a field goal at the time that we get that muff punt, now we're talking about a possible 20-24 lead about midway or early in the 4th. Now the game is being called different. So just with you all, I kind of like to get you all's thoughts on what do you all think about trying to add in analytics when it comes to coaching decisions?
Well, I think analytics are a modernization of football. And as you continue to have evolution in any sport, there's always going to be new developments, new ways to win. I don't like people that are over analytical because I think it really, like, one of my big pet peeves is like when they'll say, well, go for it on 2 or go for 2 right now because the odds say you have a 50-50 shot of getting it. If you don't get it this time, you'll get it the next time. Like stuff like that. Like just play straight up, play situationally. Don't go for 2. If you're down 14 and you're like kind of coming from behind, kick the field goal and take the thing to overtime. You know how much momentum you would have if you were down 14 and you end up going to overtime?
Exactly.
Like the momentum's on your side. But the analytics say, no, take the 2-point conversion right now. If you miss it, you're down 8. To now where you're in a position where you have to get the 2-point conversion.
Yes.
Exactly. So I think at times, like when you're in that kind of gray area, right? The 30 to 40, I really say like the 35 to 45 area. That's where you're trying to decide, does our kicker have enough leg to kick it, or should we go for it? I think analytics could be strong there, but there are other times where it's like, okay, situationally, we're on the 30-yard line, right? The 29-yard line, or 25. And it's like a 4th and 3. Kick the field goal, take the points, right? If you feel comfortable. Now, like in that 35-45 area, you don't have the strength to do it.
Okay, but even with that, see, what I'm getting at is that you have to look at, like I said, you have to look at field rhythm of the game, knowing where you are, knowing where your team is and stuff like that. Because if you end up going just like we did when Ty should have ran the ball, threw the ball to Ryan Williams, incomplete. If we kick that field goal right there, that's just a huge lift because you hadn't gotten anything for like 2 or 3 drives. And just seeing a change, it just helps.
Yeah.
So we'll see if we can continue this conversation maybe another time.
Yeah. So not an analytics guy. You're more for the field.
I'm a football purist.
There we go. I like that. Jeremy, the football purist, wrapping things up on this fine Friday from Knoxville, Tennessee. Happy Big Orange Friday, everyone. And I hope you have a great weekend full of college football and the NFL. Tennessee and ETSU tomorrow, 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time on SEC Network Plus. So make sure tonight you go ahead and get all that stuff out of the way. Log into ESPN Plus, get all that stuff fixed so you're not scrambling like a quarterback in the third quarter trying to evade the pressure and trying to get that thing on the TV. Just do it tonight. Don't worry about it. No sweat. All right, for Tyler Barbaras, Jackson Freeman, Jeremy Ensley, I'm William Pattison. We appreciate you listening along with us. We'll see you once again on Monday. This has been Overtime, presented by VIP Play on Fan Run Radio.
Can't get enough Fan Run Radio? Download the free Fan Run app and take the best Tennessee sports conversations with you wherever you go.
Hey Knoxville, Surfside iced tea and vodka made with real brewed tea is only 100 calories, 2 grams of sugar with no bubbles and no troubles. That's right, zero carbonation, so it's easy to sip and enjoy. Headed to a game day or party at a friend's house? Bring an iced tea or lemonade variety pack from Surfside or try their green tea and new raspberry tea vodka.